Well, hello there. I'm Becky Norwood with Spotlight Publishing. This is Deborah Bibaud.
Yes.
And thank you, I got it right. We are celebrating today the book launch of Sacred Hearts Rising, and this is a third in the series. This one's called Sparks of Light. Deborah is a co-author in the book. She wrote a chapter, and feel very honored to meet you today and to hear a little bit about your story. And I wanted to first read your bio that was sent to me so that we can kind of set the tone. Deborah Bibaud was born in Saskatchewan, but grew up in Edmonton, Alberta, where she currently resides. She is a single parent dedicated to raising her son with love and courage. In the past 5 years, she faced her addictions and mental health issues directly. And in the midst of those challenges, she dealt with the complex consequences of sexual assault. Her coping strategies include sharing her journey through her photography, art, and voice. How beautiful. Thank you. For some reason today, I've been talking a lot, so I got a little tickle in my throat. So Deborah, tell us, the listeners, those that are listening, a little bit about your story. And you mentioned that you also had a poem that you wanted to share.
I would love to share a poem. I wrote it for all the authors in every book, but specifically Sparks of Light, because we are so joined together. It's so amazing. My journey started about 4 years ago. I had a sexual assault problem. Somebody did something, wasn't very nice. I had to learn to dig deep and not be a victim. I chose not to be a victim very early on. I said, no, this isn't happening. I won't give you away the whole thing, but when I called the RCMP, the police, it was one officer, and he refused to believe me. And that's when I was just like, wait a second, no, I'm a professional woman, for one, and two, I called you for help and you're not helping, you're causing a bigger problem. And I felt that if it happened so easily with me, I was in Sherwood Park, which is a very affluent neighborhood. I feel that I'm white, blonde hair, blue eyes. If it was so easily to me, how much more does it happen to other people who get discriminated against based on their looks, their race, their religion, their skin color, right? Mm-hmm. And I refused. I spoke up for other people. I didn't want this to happen to somebody else. I went to the news as a 3-part series on how officers treat and first go out. There's no training, no protocol. But we made changes, and I can't wait for you to read the chapter.
Wow, I'll be delighted to read your chapter. I didn't get a chance to get everything read.
No, there's a lot.
So in this journey, the decision, and I always say it's a choice we have, because we can choose to wallow in the grief, the pain, in all the things that grief and pain can cause, depression, everything else, all those things all wrapped up into not living our lives to the fullest. Or we can choose to thrive. We can choose to be well. We can choose to be happy. And we can choose to stand up and tell our stories, to really show others that we're not alone. Exactly. And that there are many of us, and really show maybe a path for somebody else that for the first time, maybe they learn there's a different way.
Yes. And that's exactly, and you, the title of my chapter is Choices and Forgiveness, and forgiveness is a choice.
It is.
What I didn't know, though, I chose to forgive at the very beginning, but I didn't realize there was a process, and there's 3 types of forgiveness, and you'll go in my chapter and you read it, and once you realize that there's 3 types and you get to choose which one you want, the power's in you're in power, you're in control. It's all in your hands. Once I realized I had a choice for these type of forgiveness and had that process, I chose the best one, and that was for me.
Mm-hmm. Very much. And forgiveness we only do for ourselves, really. Yes, it's wonderful to forgive for the other, but they have their own journey. We can't answer for their journey, but we do it for our health, our well-being.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I know when we first got on before we went live, you mentioned that you have your book and you read it and you started crying. Tell what it feels like to actually have written this chapter in this book and how it has impacted you the most.
Oh, wow. I might start crying at me now, but I've learned to own it when I do.
Own the
So when I
tears.
do cry, I'm going to be like, okay, we're good. It took me about 6 different attempts to write out what I really needed to convey to myself. Mostly this chapter, I thought it was for other people. But then I read it again. It's for me. It's advice for me. And I find that every single time I write something out, a couple months later, I'll come back to it and say, oh, it was for me. But I had to write out 7 different versions of the same story, and each one had something I wasn't letting go of. And by writing it out and realizing that's not the story, but that needed to be said. That's not it, but that needed to be said. There was a lot of anger. I didn't realize I was hanging on to anger. Because when you choose forgiveness, you don't realize there's a lot of residual that you don't know that you're hanging on to. So I wrote those. I crumpled them up and I burned them because that wasn't the story I wanted to tell.
There's something so good about that.
All right. It's just, you let it go. You're releasing it. It's beautiful. To be part of this journey, it was real for me, but it's not real until like I get the book in my hand. It's still real. When I read the chapter I wrote, I was just full of tears. I couldn't get through it because it was like, it's permanent. This is my legacy. This is a story that I wanted to tell, and it's inspiring to me, and I hope other people learn from my experience so they don't have to go through what I did. And if they are going through what I did, then there's a blueprint of how to get through it. And it's just so inspiring.
Beautiful. I love the way you express that. It's an incredibly healing thing to do, to be able to get your story out, and releasing it to the world is like it no longer holds the power over you,
Exactly.
Such a cool thing.
With Jay Rothman, and we were co-hosts on Real People, Real Stories Raw before I even found out about this, the book. And one thing he told me is you have to feel it, you have to reveal it, and then you can heal from it.
I love
so
that.
You feel it, reveal it, heal it. And I have a t-shirt. He gave me a t-shirt that said feel, heal, reveal, and I choose that. And revealing it, one of the hardest things for me was to reveal it in a way that was that was positive and was inspiring for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to reveal it so I didn't hurt people along the journey or myself. I had to be I was very conscious about how I left it off. Like I needed to tell what I told, and it was, yes, there's lots of truth behind it, but there's no residual anything. It's free. I'm free now. So
beautiful, and I'm happy that you stuck with the journey.
Thank you. I don't give up. I was raised on a farm, and I know how to put my head down, butt up, and both arms swinging. So I just keep going. You just keep working until the job's done. So
you do. Yep, and that's what makes us the individuals that we are. And these things, look at how you've grown as a person as a result, because you chose to let yourself grow. You chose to take this path. And I think that's the biggest message that we want to get out to now is it's a choice.
It's a choice, yes. And a lot of people right now, I want to bring light to what's happening in the world. Everybody is experiencing some type of trauma. Mm-hmm. Everybody is. And this book is full of people who've experienced some type of trauma in their life and how they went through it. Maybe, just maybe, you'll resonate with somebody's story and how they decided to dig out of it. Maybe mine isn't the right way to get out of your trauma, but if you read somebody else's story and they did, their tools might help you. So it's full of tools. Right.
Each of us have a different journey. We do have a different journey, and what might not be right for me is right for you, and there's no judgment on that. It's just the fact that we come together to share these stories, and it does make a difference. And I remember when I released my own book, it was so fascinating because I had men and women both saying, thank you for having the courage to share. It helped me to understand myself. It helped me to understand my mom. It helped me, to understand a different way. And so, it's our responsibility to be impactful influencers, and especially now with not just our city, not just our country, not just our own little world. The whole world is experiencing massive change. We're doing it collectively.
Yes.
And it's huge change for so many people. And I think that now more than ever is the time to stand up and be the leaders that we need to be, so
Yes.
that we can impact the world in a positive way.
And in that, I would love to share the poem I wrote.
Please do.
This is for everybody. It is specifically for the Sparks of Light chapter, but everybody can benefit. And it's called Sparks of Light.
Awesome.
And it goes, we are in this together, our pathways now clear. Together we are one, no need for panic or fear. We got what we asked for, not always how we expect. It's not time for us to judge, not for us to inspect. Our time to shine has arrived. We are the sparks of light. Comfort and peace are what we derived. We are prepared to do what's right. We are equipped for this fight, fighting for truth and love, always helping each other out. We are the true light workers, without a doubt. Sent from straight above, our time to shine is here and now. It has arrived. Be grateful and feel blessed that we have all survived. I have messages for those who hear my true call. We are here to help the great and the small. No one is left out, no one dismissed. We help everyone on the list. Hi, this is me, sent from divine. My light once dim, now able to shine. We need to remember the importance of our past. Do not relive it. It was simply a lesson, not meant to last.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that is gorgeous. I'd like a copy if you can send that in an email.
I definitely would. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Awesome.
I will.
Well, thank you so much for taking this time. And for those that are listening, Sacred Hearts Rising, Sparks of Light is now available on Amazon. You can get it. If you're in Canada, you can get it through the Amazon.ca. The links are here in the stream. If you're in the US, you can get it on Amazon.com. And so thank you, Debbie. That was just beautiful for you.
Thank you so much for having me. And today and right now, everyone is sitting at home. Be productive and get this book and read it and find what chapter you resonate with and choose to heal. Choose. It's a choice.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
Nice to meet you too.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, in broadcast.